And yeah, the intro video didn't play again. I wish I had a really good reason why that's going on. I don't. Maybe someday I will, look into it. Maybe I won't. I don't know. We have an intro video. Normally it plays. I love it. Gives me a second to get my head wrapped around things. But you know what? It's just equally as fun to get your guns ablazing. And that's what we've got going on this episode today. There were 2 movies came out this weekend, one in theaters, one streaming on Netflix, that are just bonkers action, killers, crime, law enforcement movies. There are a lot of things that these movies share in common, and there's a lot of things that there were a few things that they don't share in common, but we're going to dive into that, man. That's what we're here to do. So the first movie is The Accountant 2, starring Ben Affleck. If you have Amazon Prime, you've probably seen over the last year or 2 or 5 about 100,000 ads, not ads, but 100,000 times where The Accountant, a 2016 film. So, we're 9 years later, where The Accountant popped up and said, hey, you might like this movie. Of course, you probably would have had to have at least watch 1 or 2 action movies on Prime for it to do so. But, I do. So I get those, you might like The Accountant. And I did like The Accountant. And now we're here to do Accountant 2. And it's a totally different movie. In the sense that sequels are totally different movies. But actually, oddly enough, it actually is a totally different movie. And the way that it is different is that if you were just dropped into a world where The Accountant 2 existed, you would literally have zero idea that Ben Affleck plays a guy who is a what do they call it? Not a criminal accountant, the accountant that digs up anomalies and problems and traces, illegality. That type of accountant. The word in front is escaping me at the moment. You have no idea, because there's absolutely nothing about this movie that implies that Ben Affleck is an accountant on the spectrum. All it does is imply that he's on the spectrum and he has a brother who he has a hard time relating with, and he's trying to get a date while having a hard time relating with other people, particularly the women he's trying to get on dates with. And that's what's going on in this movie. There's a lot of callbacks to the first movie. This is the interest. There's 2 things going on with this sequel. Thing 1 going on with this sequel is you really, really are missing out on like 20 to 30% of this movie if you just drop in and skip the first one. The other thing that that's going on with this movie is like all sequels, following the sequel mythology as laid down by their fathers and their fathers' fathers and their fathers' fathers' fathers. This is a lot funnier and leans heavily into the funniness when compared to the first one. And this, so this is a movie that opens sort of as like, there's a police officer who's trying to solve a crime and, hires on an interesting clandestine person who we don't know a lot about, but it turns out she can kill people. And the police officer ends up dead as well. And then that's not a spoiler, by the way, I don't think. And then it turns into not a buddy cop movie, but a buddy assassin movie where Ben Affleck and his brother, played by John Bernthal, who is just amazing in this movie, just like get to have fun and while trying to break up a human trafficking ring, as much as fun as breaking up human trafficking rings can be. And then after the fun of breaking up a human trafficking ring begins in earnest, not just trying to, the researching into the sources of the human trafficking ring, a lot of fun. So much fun and a lot of funnies, but it actually is genuinely funny. The things that go on around it, but then the last act is just like, okay, we'll give you what you want, and it turns into just a hardcore shoot 'em up. And the look, the first accountant movie, the first accountant movie I gave 4.5 because it's really good. Like that first accountant movie is just fantastic. This one just it's great. It's great on its own, but it really relies heavily on the first one to be great. As a standalone, I'm not sure if anybody could possibly give it like would even give it above 3 stars or tacos or whatever rating system you might be using. But as someone who has seen the first one, I bought into a lot of the interplay that's going on, especially between Affleck and Bernthal. Honestly, every second Bernthal's on the screen, it's just like it's just gold. It is absolute gold, and he is just so funny. Like he plays deranged wackadoo so well that it's like maybe Bernthal is actually a deranged wackadoo. Maybe. But Ben Affleck also everybody's good in it. Like it's just a solid, like well acted, well directed, perfectly fine sequel. And here at Really Real Talk, we do tacos instead of stars. And if we feel like something deserves a little extra, instead of doing half a taco, we add guac. Why? Because nobody eats half a fucking taco. So accountant 2, first one I gave 4 tacos plus guac. This one I'm giving 3 tacos plus guac. It is definitely a whole star/taco drop. I mean, it just is. But it's also, if you've seen the first one, highly enjoyable. Definitely recommend especially if you've seen the first one and enjoyed it. On to the next movie. Havoc. Now streaming on Netflix. If you've logged in to Netflix since Friday, you're aware that Havoc is streaming on Netflix. Why? Because this one has been plastered on everybody. I think if all you did was use Netflix to watch Bridgerton, they're still going to be throwing Havoc ads at you. This one is the latest movie starring Tom Hardy. And look, here at Real Talk, Tom Hardy gets a slight pass for things, and he needs it on this one. It's directed by Gareth Evans. Gareth Evans, who also did The Raid and The Raid 2, and did one of the segments on VHS 2, and Gangs of London. He was an executive producer on that show. He executive produced a Killers movie from 2014, not the Killers movie from the 1990s. But this is an action guy. And he's brought in Tom Hardy and an excellent supporting cast of people who are really good, and most of whom I don't know their names, other than Timothy Oliphant and Forrest Whitaker, whom I recognized directly. So Havoc. This is a movie that the first hour is just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be watching here. Basically there's a there's a chase. It opens with a chase scene. Somebody some kids or something have stolen something. It's not super clear what you just dropped into the middle of a chase scene. Like literally, it's just like, here's a chase scene. These kids, this truck is being chased by police officers. And it turns out that they stole like a bunch of washing machines filled with cocaine. And we find this out because they happen to throw one of the washing machines through a cop car window, and it explodes with cocaine inside of it. And just the people who are involved in that crime get themselves into deeper trouble when they go to deliver the goods and and are accused of killing the person who they're delivering the goods to, who turns out to be the son of the, the triad, in essence, the Asian gang. And there's so much going on, and it turns out that one of the kids involved in the crime is the son of the mayor, who is played by Forrest Whitaker, and who's clearly like a dirty mayor, has done bad things, but has paid his way up to becoming mayor. And one of the people he's paid to become mayor is Tom Hardy, who is a cop, a dirty cop who did things to shield the mayor from some of his dirty past, and is now basically on the mayor's payroll, and he wants to off, and he's like, okay, I'll get your son out of this, but this has to be the last thing. And then it goes from there. This movie is just like, okay, so Havoc. I don't know exactly how they landed on the title Havoc. All right, I don't know. But my thought is they couldn't come up with a title. And so what they decided to try was they screened it to a bunch of people without sharing with them the title. And they just said, everybody, just write the first word that comes to your mind. That when you're while you were watching this movie, and we'll see. And then they decided, they didn't tell the people this, but they decided whoever gives us the best one word answer, that we're just going with one word for the title of this movie. And like somebody wrote Havoc, and I don't think they meant it to be like a positive. Like they meant like, I kind of have a headache because this was nothing but havoc. But they took it to mean like, oh, they loved it. It was awesome. And so we're going to go with Havoc. This movie is a mess, but it also happens to be a partially glorious mess, because there is an extended 25-minute fight and gun and chase and death scene that is just, not quite John Wick tier good, but the tier below John Wick, it's chef's kiss to that kind of 25-minute extended, this is way too much, but I'm also enthralled action scene. The it's tough. It's tough to get. It's tough to get past that fight, that scene, because it's so good, and you're watching this movie, and up until that scene, it's basically the kicks off the third act, or does it close the second act? No, it kicks off. It's a really long third act, and it kicks off the third act. And it's so good. The rest of the movie is just so bad, but that fight scene is so good, and it's so silly good. It's so dumb good. It's so ridiculous good. Like, so as I implied reference, it takes place at a dance club, and it starts, and it's that classic in movies multi-tiered dance club. I don't know that I've ever been in a multi-tiered dance club in my life, and I'll be honest, I don't go to a lot of dance clubs. No, that's not true. I definitely have been. But let's just say I haven't been to a lot. But if you watch movies, you get the impression that all dance clubs are multi-tiered, and that all dance clubs have additional rooms where you go and do things that aren't necessarily going on, and so you can get away from the pounding horrible music that they're playing and stuff. And they have the upper tier so people who want to just sit rather than dance can sit without sitting close to the floor where people might stumble into them or something. And it's one of those dance clubs. The fight is going on for, I don't know if it was 5 minutes. I don't know if it was 10 minutes. It was at least 5 or 10 minutes. And guns are being fired. Make no mistake. This is not just like punching, and people are falling through glass things, as is required by the laws of movie making and action movie making and fight scenes. People are flying through glass things or mirrored things. And nobody on the first floor has any clue. Like you're 10 minutes into the damn thing and there's firing, there's gunshots, and there's blah 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 blah. And the first hint of anything is a guy is thrown off of as required again by fight scene rules and regulations. We don't make the rules, we just follow them. A guy is thrown up from the second floor, falls down onto the first floor. Usually during these fight scenes, the dance floor is pretty clear because people have realized there's, gunfire and they want to get out. These people are unfazed until somebody falls from the second floor. And then they start screaming. Now, I would posit that people wouldn't be too freaked out about somebody falling from the second floor of a dance club. Like, that's not enough to get the majority of people to freak out. A few people are going to freak out because, oh my God, this dude just fell. But I think a lot of people at a dance club are just going to be like, that dude was dancing too much, and they're just going to keep on dancing because that's not their business. Somebody falling from the second floor onto the first floor at a dance club, I don't think would be the trigger to let people know, okay, party's over. We have to start screaming, get the fuck out of here. I feel like somebody falling from the second floor of the dance floor is a sign that the few people who were close by are a little shook up and may have stopped dancing, and everybody's kind of avoiding that area of the dance floor. But apparently in this instance, the gunshots and the fighting wasn't enough. They need the person falling from the second floor was the what you needed to know that, okay, there's a fight going on, which is fine. I'm fine with that. All right. This movie's so ridiculous. It's the plot is so convoluted. I'm not even going to try to, like, I've given you like the assassin that the cop's trying to the assassin the cop's trying to hire at the beginning of the movie to help him find a family. Like, her identity is revealed as the movie goes on. It's like, that's not who that is. Like, I'm looking at a picture of that person and that's not who that is. I'm giving it 3 tacos. They're the worst fucking tacos you've ever had, but they have a sauce that is just like, why can't I take this delicious sauce and put it on other delicious tacos? Sometimes that's just not how it works out. Honestly, this is a 2 taco movie. But my rule of thumb is that if it's a movie that I would want to watch again, I'll give it 3 tacos. And I absolutely would happily watch this movie again and feel bad about it. And that's why it's surfing on the 2 tacos plus guac, 2 tacos or 3 tacos. Like, so they're either the 2 best fucking tacos we've had with delicious guac, or they're the 3 worst tacos you've ever had. And I'm going with they're the 3 worst tacos that I've ever had. And that's where we are. I'm still eating them because they're tacos. All right, this is Real Talk. I'm your host, Paul Britton. I hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back next week. When, we've got this little thing called the Thunderbolts. That's right. Thunderbolts. Asterisk. To go at the end of the Thunderbolts, because for some reason that's the title of the movie. I'm not the one that make the rules. Hey, thanks for swinging by. Be sure to go see movies. Hey, shout out to Sinners, who made another 42 million over the weekend after making 45 million opening weekend. It went down like 3%. Amazing. Well done. A++ effort on everyone's part, including Sinners. Keep that going.